next, let's queer of South Florida and Florida. Florida school board sparked controversy by banning books about banning books. In a move that has captured global attention, the Indian River County School Board on Florida's East Coast has ignited controversy by voting 3-2 to ban a seemingly ironic title, Ban This Book. The decision, labeled by some as a perfect example of Florida's educational peculiarities, has raised eyebrows and sparked debate. The book in question, Ban This Book, penned by author Amy Anne Ollinger, tells the story of a spirited 9-year-old girl who rebels against book censorship in her school by creating a secret library in her locker. Part comedy, part social commentary, the book has been praised for its celebration of the power of literature and children's ability to affect change. However, for some members of the Indian River County School Board, the book was unsuitable, with one member calling it, quote, liberal Marxist propaganda, end quote. Can't make this stuff up. This remark has prompted calls for a closer examination of the motives behind the ban. Critics have pointed out that much of the censorship appears to stem from the objections of a single individual, a parent associated with the group Moms for Liberty, shocker, who has also campaigned against works by renowned authors such as Toni Morrison and Vonnegut. The fact that even Anne Frank's diary was not spared from objections has raised concerns about the extent of the censorship agenda. Against such a grim backdrop, Scott Maxwell, writing for the SunSentinel, has pleaded with Floridians to, quote, stop electing idiots. Specifically, stop electing into school boards, end quote. Florida continues to be a difficult place to explain to the rest of the worldwide LGBTQ+ community. Under Ron DeSantis' leadership, Ban This Book continues to demonstrate we are the land of Florida. Look, it's absolutely ridiculous that Florida is #1 in book bans, to the point where Ron DeSantis himself has had to get in front of a podium for another one of his little press conferences and say, hey guys, I think maybe we might have gone a little bit too far. And they passed legislation this year to actually make it harder to ban books because it's been so insane. All of these have happened, almost all of these book bans have happened from under a dozen people in the state of Florida, most of which aren't even parents of kids in the district.
Yeah, no, that's absurd.
Aren't even kids in the district.
That's absurd.
I am grateful to say that here in South Florida, book banning has not been as big of an issue as it has been in other counties across the state. But girl, it's still definitely been a problem.
It's still there.
Which leads me into I want to mention that we are doing a summit actually in Central Florida called the United Voices Summit, where we are going to be gathering teachers and students and community members and activists across the state to push back against the book banning that's happening in our state. Awesome. It's going to be on July 12th and 13th. And on the 12th, there's going to be a reception with a ton of banned book authors like James Ponte, Lauren Groff, Dr. Marvin Dunn, Steve Machek, and Rob Sanders. And so it's going to be killer. So you want to get
caravan to Central Florida.
Right, let's do it.
So if y'all want to get your tickets, you can look at the events on www.prismfl.org or on penn.org's events
and get your tickets. That sounds awesome, Maxie. Great job.
And y'all better go.
Yeah, right? So I think somebody should write a book, teach this, and maybe they'll teach it. just saying.
It's just absurd. And a lot of, like Max said, these are not even people with children in public schools.
How are you going to ban Charlotte's Web? How?
Exactly.
Come on!
And when has history ever favored the limitation of knowledge to any one group of people? When does that ever look good in a history book? And just to play a little bit of devil's advocate, which is not hard with this, but even if a book is all about Marxism, well, shouldn't you have a couple of books on Marxism in the library along with kind of every other philosophy and political
education?
Yeah, just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean that you shouldn't learn about it.
Learn not to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't do that by ignoring.
Anytime you cut off someone's access to learning about something, it's wrong. We want to teach people to be able to use their own brains and common sense.
It's fair.
Learn
451.
and then make decisions.
Look, and one last thing, the Scott Maxwell, right? His quote should have just said, quote, stop electing idiots. That's it. Period. End of quote would have been perfect.
But he was asking Florida to stop electing
So he had to
idiots.
be like,
especially to school boards.
Yeah. Got it.
Yes.